All right, folks, I'm going to introduce Ted real quick. And I'm not holding his bio. You need to read his bio. I'm not going to read his bio, but I've known Ted in Georgia for a little while, but I think I saw him on the the first time I went up to New York to the tennis teachers conference was in 1980 with the Roosevelt. And I believe you were part of this. He was with Peter Burwash at the time. And Peter Burwash had this traveling tennis show. What was the name of the show?
EBI Tennis Show.
EBI Tennis Show. And it was kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters do tennis. And Ted was one of the four. They did a lot of training for this. This wasn't something they just said, we're going to do this. This was choreographed out. They get 4 balls going at once and get crossing them and doing this stuff, catching. And it was really cool. So that's the first time I got to see Peter Burwash. First time got to see Ted. Ted's very prolific in our tennis industry. He's been in lots of different places. How many languages?
Only 2.
Only 2. Often with Peter Burwash, they'll send him to different countries. And he's worked in many countries. He's written books. He's written articles. He's taught world-class players. He's taught little ones. So he's here as sponsored by Encore Off Court. So let's give him a quick hand for being in Memphis.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. It's a real pleasure to be able to come to Southern. I've had 2 stints in Atlanta. I just love the tennis spirit of Atlanta and Georgia and the whole South. So it's a real pleasure to come back here. I want to thank Kalindi. How many of you know Kalindi? If you've got On-Court, Off-Court magazine for the last, kind of like the last 20 years, we've seen Kalindi grow up, right? Because she was a face and so it's wonderful for me to see Kalindi so dedicated to the tennis industry, and now their father, Joe, has decided that he's ready to give up traveling. She's taking over and coming to these. And it's just really special to have that youth, that vibrancy, bringing it to the game. And On-Court, Off-Court, in 20 years, Joe and I have been friends for 40 years now. And when he started On-Court, Off-Court, I'm like, well, you know, it's a good idea, but it's going to be a heck of a lot of work. And just realize that dealing strictly with tennis pros, you're not going to sell a lot. You know, they're not going to buy a lot. But Joe said, hey, I've got a vision. And he took that vision, and what he's created has allowed us to become much better tennis pros. What we're going to do today is share with you. We guarantee you're coming out here with 10 ideas. But hey, we've got 4 hours. My goal beyond that is to help you totally transform how you look at yourself as a tennis pro, how we see ourselves as coaches and what our role is, and maybe what your purpose in life is. Are we as tennis coaches, is our main focus to teach great technique and great strokes? How many think that's our main goal? How many think our main goal is to make a lot of money? That's a nice thing to do. But if you want to make a lot of money, you should be on Wall Street, not on the tennis court. How many of you think our goal is to follow our passion, our love for this game? You wouldn't be here if you didn't have the passion. And how many think that our goal is to really have an impact on every single person we come in contact with? That's what it's all about, isn't it? How can we impact the people that come to us? And as tennis pros and tennis coaches, we have probably the most influence on a child or even an adult than anybody. We have an opportunity to really shape their life. And that's a huge responsibility. But we can't do that if our focus is, I'm here to develop great forehands or beautiful backhands. Right? Will that engage kids in the game? No, it drives them nuts. You know, the coaching style of, oh, wait a minute, it didn't look like just right, or you finished wrong. If we emphasize only technique, what are they going to do? Adios, see you later, I need another sport where I can play. Bill's presentation is fabulous, right? You engage kids, and our goal is to develop athletic skills, right? So what we're going to do today is start out with the foundations and give you a lot of ideas on how to make those stroke corrections easy, fun, painless. Then we're going to move to what really everybody wants, which is games. We're going to talk a little bit about cardio tennis and how its focus has become much more towards the game aspect. And then I'm going to share with you a whole, just a huge format of how to create games that do the teaching for you, that really develop and force people to develop what you want them to do, but in a game format. That sound okay? But keep in mind, the main focus is what we're really here to do. So how do people learn? Everybody knows this, right? We've got the auditory, we've got the visual, and the kinesthetics, right? So the last thing you want to do is hear me just talk all the time, because you only remember how much percent of auditory stuff you hear. What's the percentage? 7, 5, 10%, depending on whether that's your strength or not. How much do you remember of visual? Stuff you see. 20, 30. Again, different people have different skills. So in our sport, what's visual? How do visual learners learn in our sport? Okay, going here and watching matches, that's one of the best. Watching videos. Us as coach and demonstrator, using video, right? That's all geared towards the visual. Kinesthetic, when you actually do something, experience, how much do you retain? 60, 70%. So, really, even if you're an auditory learner or a visual learner, you still have to get the feel, otherwise it's not yours. So why not just go straight to the kinesthetic as often as possible and get the feel? And that's what the whole concept of gimmicks is all about. How do we, number one, make it fun and sort of goofy and sort of interesting and sort of, oh, let's just play around and try something, versus here's how you must do it. Because guess what? If we tell them how they must do it, who's to say that's right? Who's to say we're not 20 years behind where the game really is? I was lucky. I learned from Peter Burwell. In 1974, my second year at camp, he said, oh, we're going to start teaching the modern forehand. Elbow starts back, left hand up here, and open stance. 1974. 1990, he wrote the cover article on Tennis Magazine on open stance forehand. It got more negative letters than anything they'd ever done in their whole career. And who do you think that was from? Teaching pros. Oh my God, we're listening over again. 3 letters came in from touring pros who never write. All 3 of them said, oh my God, finally, there's a teaching pro who understands what the heck's happening in the game. And finally, in 2004, the USPTA said, oh, let's start teaching modern tennis. That's how far behind sort of the traditional coaching is. And that's why I love seeing guys like Bill saying, hey, we're not teaching stroke, we're teaching abilities, skills. We're teaching hand-eye coordination. We got to teach kids how to become athletes, how to track the ball. Not just here's what you do when you're in the perfect situation. So, let's make the game simple and fun, okay? So we got a whole bunch of little gimmicks and things that make the game easy. So, let's just play around for a minute. We need a couple volunteers to come out. And what we're going to do is show you some of the fun stuff that on-court, off-court has. I'll throw in some of my favorites with it. But we all know that when you first start out, that idea of tracking and getting the ball in the strings, I love the ones where you're tracking and catching it in here. It's all about contact. But then as you get better, then you develop more of a feel of, okay, what is a great stroke? Okay? So finding that balance between control and power is always a challenge, right? So we're going to start out with showing you, taking it to the opposite extreme. How do you get more power? What creates power? Rocket hits speed. Where does that come from? Core, ground, rotation, kinetic chain. Now, this is all great if you're in our ideal situation. What happens if you're on the dead run? Can you do all that? Then what? What? I see pros hitting on the run. The old Sanford's running forward. Pretty darn good shot. What's the ultimate source of power? Without which the wrist is the ultimate. And it's the one that can stand on its own if necessary when you're in trouble. There we go. How do you control the wrist? What's the slapping it? Yeah, so you teach how to use the wrist rather than the old style of wrist lock, no wrist. Okay? So, there's a lot of ways to do that. One of the ones that I really love, and it's not part of the on-court, off-court process yet, but I love it, and that is to get a racket cover and actually have people hit with racket covers on. Need 4 people. Who wants to come out? Gary, come on out. How many of you have used racket covers on them before? Try it. Feel like it. It'll drive you nuts at first. Now, what's this going to do? Yeah, come on out. Jump over. So, just start hitting. Okay? Just dog back and forth, 2 balls. See what it feels like. Now, the great thing about this, you can do it in a game in a situation where you're just eating, or you can just have them play games with it. Go ahead, start up close. Actually, you guys are warmed up. Move back. Let's have some fun with it. Now, again, as soon as you introduce something goofy, a gimmick, what does it do? They start laughing, right? Takes the pressure off making mistakes. Everybody looks goofy, right? Okay? Well, what do they have to do? They have to figure it out. And that's the key to a great gimmick. You take the pressure off the learning process. There's no right or wrong. But they're forced to get the feel of doing some things properly in order to get success. Right? So as soon as they start slapping, is it going to go over? No. As soon as they start whipping over? No. So they've got to drive through the ball nicely. They've got to get good racket hit speed. Here you go. One-handed backhands are pretty tough. So you have to develop the strength. You can't go with slappiness. You develop the strength of driving and accelerating through. Now these are all great players, okay? Yet they're going through a learning process. And the learning process always involves frustration, right? If you're in your comfort zone, and everything's perfect, you're not progressing, you're not learning. You learn from getting challenged to do something you're not that comfortable with. Okay? Now, what's happening here? They're starting to get it, right? They're starting to figure it out. They feel like their mom. Now, again, normally you'd be in a more of a meeting situation initially to get the feel for it. These guys are getting pretty solid. Right? Okay, now what would be the next step here? I skipped a few. What would be the next step? Play a game. Right? So now we're going to play first to 3 points. You guys are playing, let's go cross court, okay? Cross court, alleys are good. Alleys are good. Play 1 game to 3 points. And watch what happens. All of a sudden they start getting, right? And that's the real key. If you get nothing else out of today, it is that games are what engage, and games are what force them to figure stuff out. Good save. Okay? Okay? All of a sudden, the rallies are longer, all of a sudden, the engagement is there. It's all about the game. Good save. Okay, great. Thank you. So now, here's what the kids love to do. Actually, come on over this side real quick here. Now, it's no fun just to take it off, right? So unzip it halfway. So now, the next time you get, everybody over there, I'm just going to feed for just a sec. Slide it so it's about, and we're going to do running forehand. So start in the back corner there. Just going to hit one forehand coming across, and let it fly off. Let it fly off. So if it doesn't come off, then unzip a little bit more. Unzip a little bit more. Go ahead and unzip it until it flies off. Let it fly off. Unzip more. Look at the way they're whipping through the ball. Okay, now take it. There we go. That's what we want. Get that feel of it just popping off. There we go. Yeah, see? There we go. One more. Great. Okay, now what's going to happen on the next 5 balls? You hit. Look out. Okay, everybody wait here. Because they're going to come through there so quick. They're going to be so early. Be ready for it, guys. Not Gary, though. He knows it. Look at the racket head speed. Now they just whip through. They feel like they got nothing in their hand, right? Players who might have been timid before, all of a sudden are feeling like, wow, I can really rip. Feels good, huh? Last couple. And 2 more. Yeah, racket head speed. Thanks, guys. Good job. Can you just grab the covers off, please? Fun, huh? Now, they're great players. You saw how they struggled because they had to make great contact. Now, another way to develop that is with a wrist racket. So, Kalendi, why don't you explain exactly how the wrist racket works? Thanks. Good job.
So the whole idea with this is to help develop. Can everyone hear me? The whole idea is to get a feeling for that hingy wrist motion that you see all the top pros doing. What's cool about this is that it's the exact same length as a racket, so you can actually hit with it. So maybe a couple more volunteers want to try it out. Because I'll just embarrass myself.
Wow. Don't be bashful. So go ahead and swing it. Teach you how to swing it.
Swing it. When you want it, always just keep pointing forwards and then swing. Feel it?
Good. 2 more. Good. Okay, now try to hit the ball. Whoa. Hey, contact. That's good. If you make contact with this, you're doing good. You can hit it over the net, you're awesome. You can hit the ceiling, look out. Now see what he has to do here. Again, racket hit speed. Automatically. So part of the process here is giving them something that seems impossible or seems crazy, right? like, well, how could I do that? And then after a while, whoa, look at this. Now he's getting great contact. Okay? Okay, no problem. Doing amazing. Okay? Great. Now grab your racket. So once he has that feel, he's already got a great forehand, but feel what it. See how simple that feels? It's like now, he can't miss, right? Hitting the string is a piece of cake after trying to hit that little stupid ball. Doesn't matter where he goes, he's got that feel. Okay, last two.
I like that.
Cool, huh?
Never miss any ball.
So again, part of what in developing new skills is taking that pressure off and giving them something so crazy, so impossible. It's like one of the little gimmick studies with kids. Lane was talking about, I'll regress here just for a sec, but Lane was talking about developing tracking and vision skills. One of the things I'd like to do with kids is have them try to catch two balls at the same time, right? Lane, so if you come up here, come on, you've done it. So you catch one ball, Lane, go, okay? One ball each, and then it's like two balls same time. All right, we all start on first, right? And again, first kid's like, oh my gosh, I can't even catch one ball. And then when you ask them to catch one ball in one hand, then they can do that, and then it's like two balls. Wow. And then what would be the next step? Most people don't have the right hand-mouth coordination to do that. So 3 balls would be tough. And now get a racket. Grab your racket, Bill. So now, catch one in the left hand and hit the other right back to me. Okay, go ahead and hit it back to me. Okay, yeah. Right? Okay, real tough. Okay. Okay, so now he's making contact, but he's missed the last 2 in the left hand. These are new balls, tough to catch. So now, forget about hitting. Still hit it, but don't think about it. Now catch in your left hand. Really make sure you catch. Oh, guess what? You know, he focused on catching, but he still hit. Right? So he's developing the vision skill, the tracking skill. I got focus on catching. Okay, let the hit take care of itself. Okay, good. Okay, now the next step will be what? No, hit both. Be a little tough. I'd have to feed it just right. Now I can move, right? So now a different target. Okay, so he has to be seeing where I am as the target. So now look at the vision skills we're developing here. Right? So what for your I should call triple vision. You got to be aware of the ball, the court, and the opponent. Right? Just watching the ball isn't going to do it. Okay? Well, that would be. Okay, now that. But that could be the next step. Okay, so now only forehands, no matter where I threw the ball. Okay, so now he has to move, still catch. Oh, I can't catch. Inside out. Okay, still keep him at the target. And again, you can have them play games like this, you can have them do cooperative competition, which we'll talk about in a minute. But the whole idea is developing these athletic skills. Next one. So again, it's always a building process, and you're going to hear that a lot from me today, is how you make progressions, how you build. Right? So kids will exercise, you just build it up to the next level, next level, next level, next level. Okay? But what happens to kids' confidence, or anybody, when I say kids, just realize it means kids of any age. Okay? I'm still a kid. Okay? I've been in this business 40 years and I'm still a kid. And I don't want to tell you how old I am today, but I'm still a kid. So kids of any ages. But when you take the pressure off of making mistakes and let everybody feel goofy, that's when learning takes place. Does learning take place when you're worried about making mistakes? I'm going to fail the test. Alright? So we as pros have to not be that teacher that says, nope, you're doing it wrong. It's like, hey, let's experiment. Let's play around. And that's why I love all these gimmicks. So that's the snap racket. This snap racket has similar ideas.
It's auditory instead of just kinesthetic. So the idea is here a lot of beginning students who they're going to want to drop down too early. So you tell them, okay, hold it, but they keep dropping down too early. So with this, they hear it, they drop down too early versus you want to hold it and then it snaps all at once. Or on the volley, you don't want to swing. You hear it if you swing, you want to just be firm. So it's basically you're hearing and feeling when you're doing things correctly versus different. And then the idea would be you try out a few swings and then you hit regular balls. You're developing that kinesthetic feel for it.
So that's the best gimmicks when they combine a lot of different learning styles. Kinesthetic and the auditory, and the visual. So it all works together. But the key is they recognize, oh, okay, I don't have to have my pro telling me, oh, you did this, oh, you did that, oh, you're supposed to do that. It's like, oh, I feel that. Oh, okay, how do I correct that? And that's really what we want, right? We want our players to be dependent on us. Look up at the box and go, what do I do? What do I do now? We want them to be independent problem solvers. So if we think of the simplest stroke correction, we're going to get into this when we start talking about visual aids and targets, but yeah. Yep.
No, it's just good outside. But that's a good idea.
New idea. Yeah. And that's a good idea. I mean, bring out ideas, share them with Lindy, she'll get them back, and we want to just keep progressing and keep making things great. So the simplest stroke correction is just how to correct your mistakes. How many mistakes can you make in a test score? Actually, it's 5. Okay? So you hit the ball in the net, hit the ball long, 2 by the left, 2 by the right, or misconfigured. Okay? That's it. Name one other mistake you can make. Besides not showing up on time. Okay? Have you seen people do that? Like, and they get back there and anyway, that's playing cricket. And you're Indian, you probably learn to do that. And they were actually great. The Indian people are great at that. So how do you correct those? The simplest correction is just making a simple adjustment, right? So if I miss wide to that side, what's causing that? Getting early. My contact point is too far in front, goes over there. How do I correct? Wait. I'm going over there. Getting late. A little bit earlier. Contact point. Can kids do that? Sure. Might as well go over there. Good. How do I correct it? How do I wait? Oh, gee. Self-correction. Easy. If I hit the ball in the net, what's the easiest correction for that? So the beginning correction, I'll just open the racket, pop it over. A more advanced correction is Okay? Go through more. The really fun correction is overcorrect, hit the back fence on the fly. Boom! Don't make that same mistake again. Right? Freeing people. Don't think, well, just aim a little higher than this time. Let it go. Feel the extremes, and then it's easy to find your way in the middle. If it goes long, what's the simplest correction? Just close the rack. If I've just sailed it long, if I just close the rack a little bit more, it's going to stay in. If not, just a little more. So you learn to adjust and make the overcorrections. Does that make sense? It's easy. Simple game. Right? 5 mistakes. You get rid of the first mistake by focusing on tracking and making great contact. Right? You don't want everybody have to just slap it away from the very start and taking these huge swings no matter what kind of situation they're in. Because really what we're doing is teaching situational tennis. And that's what we're going to talk about a whole lot this afternoon when we get to games. Is how do you develop situational tennis that makes sense of those. Lane already showed the medicine balls. Great, we didn't bring them because obviously flying on Frontier, they charge you $1 million for everything you bring. Do you have the flex trainer? But the medicine balls are great. And again, when you saw him work with the medicine balls, what happened as soon as he said, let's play a game? You know? It's magic. Those 3 words, let's play. Now, a flex trainer.
Am I going to wear it?
Yeah.
I like making other people wear it.
It would take me way too long to get it on. And my knees don't bend too much anymore. So, how do you get the lower body? Right? I really don't focus too much on lower body in terms of instruction. I do what Bill was doing and showing you here is athletic skills, play games. I love that moment to roll the ball and you have to do it. Why is it that all of the great Europeans and South American tennis players were all great soccer players? They're athletes. What happened with us? We get kids to specialize in tennis at age 8, and we wonder why they get their butts kicked. Because they're not athletes. We're not doing a good enough job developing those athletic skills on a tennis court. So, flex training.
So the whole idea behind this is it makes you bend your knees. It's literally making me bend my knees. This is not very fun. And then you would hit a few balls wearing it, and then you feel like you have to move low, and then you take it off, and then suddenly you're moving super light and quick. And I remember I would use this when I was junior training and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I feel like I'm moving like Roger Federer. After you take it off, and you can obviously adjust it for different levels. So take off the band, if you got someone who's kind of weaker, or all 3 bands if you're stronger. I don't know if I qualify strong right now. But anyone want to try? The way you adjust the height is just trying to
And it'll force him to them. Again, part of... No, not right now. If you do, it'll throw it out. It'll make you jump over, hop over and get it. So, again, the beauty of something like this is it gets the feel of something they're not used to doing. And again, it's sort of overfeeling what it is to bend the legs. When you practice like that, yeah, he's got to really get down there. Okay, good. Now go get your racket. Yeah, go get your racket. No. Go.
Extremely fun. Carry on.
Okay, back over here. Let's hit a couple. to make it easy on you. Have a backhand, we'll let you hit a backhand. We won't force you to run around it.
Drop shot.
No, we don't do that one. Not that name. There we go, last two. Okay. Now, see what happens? You did great. You started to get the feel of it. And now what's going to happen when you take it off? Felt the difference.
I feel like you're now in the mood.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do a couple. So now, you're going to feel like Federer now, man. Okay? How'd that feel? Yeah, now he's free. But yet he's developed that muscle memory a little bit better. So now it becomes a natural part of him. And when you free him, it's like, whoa, I just got that out of jail. Does that make sense? So some of these gimmicks are really meant to make you totally uncomfortable. Right? Feel so weird and so overwhelmed that when you get free back to normal, it's like, whoa, this game is so easy. So we're getting a little bit on the serve now. We've got just about 5 minutes. We'll start on the serve and maybe get to it. One of my favorite gimmicks for the serve, again, is keeping things simple but difficult. One knee. How have you done this before? Yeah. Right? What does it do? Force you to hit up. Force you to use what? What are you using? Just the wrist, right? So for people who are all over the place trying to throw their body into the ball too early without good timing, just wrist. Then if you want to, you can have them sit. Normally you have to sit down cross-legged, but that takes me too long to get up. And then ultimately, you want to really get goofy, you say, okay, how about laying down? Right? And again, just takes the pressure off. It's like, oh man, who could serve laying down? I can never do that. But you can hit a great confidence serve down here because you have no other choice. Right? So once you get that feel, again, now if you use the wrist, piece of cake. I've developed the essential part, and then I can build from there. But again, you made it fun, you made it goofy, you made it, it's not a big deal to make a mistake, and then you can go ahead and build from there. Let's do it. I think we got 2 or 3 more minutes before the exercises come on. Let's do the, how do you develop a great serve? What? Yeah, so we got our football. How did Serena and Venus develop such great serves? They threw a football every day. They threw a football. And that was, you know, so many of our great players were developed by people who were not in our coaching tennis industry. You know, in San Francisco coach Fisher, you know, Richard Williams just figured it out. He said, hey, I'm creating athletes. I don't know how to teach strokes, but I'm going to make them great athletes. So he realized, okay, throwing is what it's all about. You ever have people throw the racket out and leave it out in the grass? It's great. You know, or then get up over the back fence. You know, all these throwing aspects are key. But developing that confidence that I can throw. Racket covers work great for that too. Kind of tough to just serve over with it, but it's a great one. Almost time it. Okay. So let's show one more. We don't have the serve side. But look in there. I love the serve side. Again, it's a great one for feeling. Just where you have like 3 balls in a big one, too. It's a great one for getting that feel of that racket head speed. So much of the game today is racket head speed. And then, how do you teach a great toss? Personally, I hate the word toss. I try to avoid it like the plague. Because as soon as you say, oh, let's get a perfect toss, you better be playing indoors. Because outdoors in Colorado, I'm sorry, you know, your perfect toss could blow back there, or it's right in the sun. Okay? So, is a perfect toss necessary for a great serve? No. If you depend on it, you're in trouble. Unless you're playing indoors only. So again, as long as you train the wrist, you can have a toss in different places and still get it in. Okay? But for players who need to develop that, how do you develop it? I do it by teaching double. Well, I have kids practice one ball back and forth, and then two balls, and then eventually three balls, maybe, and then have just lift and throw, lift and throw. But for people who really struggle with the toss doctor is awesome. We were playing around with these for the Intermountain Division Convention last week. I took all these things home and tried them out with some of my kids, and I've got this one girl, she's like 11 or 12 years old, and her toss is like pathetic. She's like, whoa, always way over creation, always way high, way out there. I gave her this thing and said, okay, play with it. She's like, boom! Just shot back, almost hit her in the head. Whoa! How about you just lift it up so it doesn't come back in there? You just lift it. It's not lift it so it just almost straightens out, but doesn't quite. And pretty soon, she's like, oh, that's what it feels like. Just place the ball. Not fire it up to the moon. Just placing the ball so I can hit it nicely. And all of a sudden, it became so easy. So again, it's that awareness of when I do it wrong, boom, something comes and nails me sometimes on the head. But now I recognize here's what the feel is. And this has a lot of other cool things. Joe has some videos that show some other stuff you can do with these kind of guys, but this kind of ball. But again, great gimmicks that really help just transform strokes in a heartbeat. And that's what it's all about. Quick, fun, easy, and effective. So I think it's about time for lunch. Thank you so much for your attention here. Please, a few of you don't eat too much for lunch because we're going to start doing a lot more running this afternoon. And thank you so much.
Yes, if you're leaving, you can drop off your name badge if you don't want it someplace. Pick that mic up, because I'm going to bring Erin Mazurek out. She's our tournament director here. And she's going to give you a quick word as we start cleaning the court up behind her. She's losing her voice, so she desperately needs this. Come on, Erin.
I am. I'm sorry. It's like squeaky beak.
Thanks, guys. And first of all, I tried to make a buy yesterday. As any of you know, when you're running a tournament, you get pulled in 100 million directions. So my apologies I didn't get out here yesterday. But I just want to welcome you all and thank you for being here. Sincerely, we as new owners, I'm a USTA National Office employee out of White Plains, but I am now 100% headquartered right here in Memphis, Tennessee, to turn around the Memphis Open. And we need to bring the fans back and fill the seats again and bring the sponsorships back, and we are committed to do that. We started out well with only 3 months to pull this thing together by signing on ServiceMaster as our presenting sponsor. And if anyone was here last night, we saw our best, most robust crowds last night. So we were really, really pleased to see that. You know, the word is spreading and it's getting out there, and I know you all were in the seats too. Some of you got tickets, so thank you for being here. I do know you wrap up this afternoon, but I encourage you to stick around and enjoy the tennis. We tried something different with the singles head-to-head in our evening session last night, and I think it was really well received. We had 2 rock star matches, and I know the pros are getting out here on this court, so I won't be long-winded, but I do want to say that, we believe that Memphis is a tennis town. We know it is. It's got one of the most robust USTA membership markets in all of the South. The southern section is the largest section in the United States. So this tournament has had a lot of glory years with the who's who of the champions playing here. And just because American tennis is working on its revival and our champions are coming through, we saw that in the qualies. To see these guys come through the qualies, you know, Austin Krajicek giving Misha Corey, number 5 in the world, a run like that last night, that we should feel really good about American tennis after that, because we know that there's going to be a revival and a resurgence, but I do want to say that we can't do that revival and resurgence without you. So I know you're connected to your clubs and your players and your markets all across this region, and this is my plea to you: bring them here. We want this to be a destination city again. We want this to be a destination tournament, and we're trying to put the right pieces in place to make sure we do that. We've got the Mo and a fun place to hang out, and the bands and the music, and we hope that you like our changes and that you feel and see and notice the difference in the energy level here. And I just came immediately from the Detroit Red Wings, so I'm bringing some hockey back to tennis. So we're gonna get, you know, no fights on the court maybe, that would be a little much, but we're gonna bring a new energy and a new perspective to this tournament. And from me to you, I just encourage you to help us and support that effort. We're all USTA, we're all US Tennis affiliated, and we all want to see this sport continue to grow and thrive in our country. And together, I know we can do it right here in Memphis. So thank you for being here at the Memphis Open, and I hope to see you around the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
So we'll come. Let's plan to be back by 1:15. You know, I tend to do drawings about 5 minutes before that tournament time. So take all the time you want.
You might get to win some one of the
Yeah.
tools and stuff.
Take all the time to want. You know, if you're back here by 1:10.